not going to speak in public.
Why not? The secrecy.
Are you a trend? I don't control them. They don't control them.
You look pretty.
Well, that's up to you. Maybe I'm very negative about it.
Excuse me.
Then it will be a bad thing for me.
Yeah, let's do that.
Climate change is a hoax.
Everybody who believes that the climate change thing is
Not climate changes. Not climate changes. Global warming is a hoax. Global warming, not climate changes.
Well, then we democratically agree that climate change is a hoax.
No! Global warming caused by CO2 is a hoax.
Okay.
Right.
But you would certainly be somewhat informed about the 9/11 situation, how it was carried out, and who is behind the 9/11.
I wasn't speaking.
You're not involved.
Well, I'm so how can you? As you are.
If he were, he would not be standing out here. No, of course not.
Do you feel the sun? It is very evident now by all the scientific analysis of the 9/11 that the 9/11 was actually engineered by a very small power group of elite people.
Yeah, I read about that.
Yeah, who had actually put explosive on all floors in the building.
I saw the documentary.
Right. And what's your opinion about this?
I think it went. I think it was not.
What about Building 7? Was it hit by any plane?
Maybe you should talk with Nils Hyde. He's here.
No, not at all.
But it fell down in 6 seconds?
But since you're this uninformed about it, how can you then pretend
about it? But I have a different opinion than you have.
Well, obviously,
Two buildings that were taken down by two planes. And the other buildings were taken down by the.
So you are a sheeple. You are definitely.
Honestly, you can't tell me you believe that.
5 hours later.
No. Fire.
You can't even say it with a straight face. Come on.
I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
Not all that.
You can't even say it with a straight face, man. Do you have any evidence of the so-claimed hijackers boarding the planes, going into the cockpits and flying the planes? You don't have that evidence.
Do you have the evidence of the opposite?
You can't fly planes that way. You can't fly planes that way. Pilots say. You can't fly boats that way. You cannot bring the pilot who would like to bring the bike into the speaker
and you can speak in the speaker, please.
I come here, but I don't like to shout at you, so I don't like this thing. I don't like it.
Okay, now I only have one question. I will ask you that.
This is one question.
One question.
Yeah, why speak? When Nils Harrit was scheduled,
Different.
I'm speaking, and I'm asking, please.
Try to agree on who's speaking first.
Yeah. Why did you come? When Nils Harrit was scheduled to speak?
Actually, I came here because I got a message from a journalist that I spoke yesterday, and he asked me to come again.
Who was that journalist?
He got arrested today. Did he? Who was he? That's the problem.
It's good, and I spoke to him yesterday.
Maybe he did something wrong.
No,
that's the only reason. I have 1 hour. And it already took 45 minutes now, so I've only a few minutes left.
Yes.
So what's your name, please?
I want to answer questions, I want to speak. I don't want to shout at people, so please don't give me
It's
that.
not
Only one question. You arrived here, my guess is you arrived here by plane, right?
Yes.
Yes, it's lucky that the plane motor or the jet engine didn't melt by the jet fuel, right?
Yeah, it didn't.
Because it took more than an hour to get here by plane.
It's true.
Yeah, and 1 hour, World Trade Center, the beams melted by jet fuel.
Yeah, but it's a different
He's already
material.
stated his opinion on this.
Completely different. It's a completely different process. You don't burn the kerosene in a jet engine like you do in a building. I mean, it's totally different.
Yeah, but it wasn't fuel combustion.
I have to admit, I'm a politician, so. But I was trained as an engineer. I'm an engineer. So, I don't know everything like you.
What's your name, please?
Samsom.
Samsom. One more than Samsom. One more than Samsom.
We see your identification already. If there's somebody else wants to answer.
Is there still privacy? Does privacy exist?
No. It should. But if you define privacy as the right to be left alone, which is sort of a definition of privacy, at the moment none of us have it. Do we? No. So it's difficult to preserve it in a world where everybody watches each other. You watch me at the moment with that thing and other people, and governments watch each other. I'm a public figure. You are in a public place, but the problem is privacy. It's something that is precious, and we should preserve it. But at the same time, we all use technology that is intruding privacy. We all use it, and now we need to find a balance. That's difficult. That's difficult.
You don't listen to your phone.
We
don't touch you at the airport.
I don't do that.
So you generally, as part of the system,
yes.
right?
Yeah, I represent the system that does it.
Yes. How do you feel?
And you're part of a system that does it.
We don't want to be part of it anymore.
I think it's a difficult discussion.
It's your system, it's not ours.
I mean, we need information about criminals, terrorists, or don't you think you need that information?
But you need to have no suspicion.
That's not what I'm saying. It's through invading people's privacy.
You can't have dragnet
Through breaking the
surveillance.
constitutional laws that people have.
No, you shouldn't break laws.
They now have
Somebody breaks the
every
law.
day, all the time.
They have dragnet
It's
drone
difficult because we
surveillance.
make laws.
It's not difficult.
Maybe you have to blame me.
It's on plain paper. If you can read, you know it's
You have to blame me because I make
work
laws. I'm responsible for laws that allow the secret agencies to look into stuff that you don't like. That's true. So you have to talk with me. Secret agencies.
They're just doing their job just like the Nazis. Yeah.
I have a question.
I'm with a lot because every government does this.
Yeah, we're just doing our job.
No, hold on. If a policeman here just said he's not a Nazi,
He's still responsible for protection. No more than that on what?
To the privacy
just
space.
watching them, I think they're doing a good job.
I think it's going to escalate. Where every citizen is going to have.
Civil disobedience, is that a crime? No. No? But the thing is, when people lay out
I did it for 9 years in Columbia. Civil disobedience is part of democracy.
What made you stop?
But you have to do it. You have to have a few conditions. The two most important. One is non-violent. Always non-violent. If you do civil disobedience, don't use any violence. And take responsibility for your actions. If you do something that is not allowed, you get arrested, pay the fine, or whatever. That's the conditions.
That's up to the policeman. It's up to policemen to interpret.
No, well, it's in the end up to the judge, not the police.
The bigger issue is
you end up
who is
paying a fine is decided by the
That's
judge.
what we want to discuss
Or
with
the
you.
district attorney.
You don't want to discuss it. The bigger question is who's behind 9/11? Who is really behind the Bilderberg?
think
What is the
Osama bin Laden
agenda?
was behind
That is what we
Oh
I think
man,
you don't agree.
that is so rich. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, you can.
Why can't you people just leave us the hell alone?
Why start you by laughing at me? It's
Because
not really-
you mentioned Osama bin Laden. Osama
And I
bin Laden
still-
is
I
an
still wanna
Oswald.
answer your question.
He's a patsy.
Exactly.
created Osama
Okay.
bin Laden.
And I still want to
The
answer.
FBI and the CIA created Osama bin Laden to infect the Afghani militant Islamism in order to create problems for Russia. So Russia would then be forced to invade Afghanistan, and then you'd have a new situation. Just like when the CIA
What's your
deposed
question?
and murdered Mossadi in Iran.
What was your question?
But why can't you just leave us alone? Why are we so damned important to you as debt slaves? Why are we so damned important
But
for
you
you
mean
to
now,
control?
literally, so that I should walk away now?
Why can't we have
It's
access to
possible.
what's going on in there? Why are the 200 plus
Because not
police?
every building is accessible to everybody. If I want to go into that building on the 7th floor,
So why don't you guys? So why don't you guys come out?
I come out.
What level are you? What level are you?
Could you ask Anders Fogh Rasmussen to come out?
Who's this for?
Could you ask Anders Fogh Rasmussen
I
to
don't
come out?
ask anybody else
Carl
something
Bildt?
to do because they don't
Kissinger?
ask me. They don't ask me just to do
Rockefeller?
something.
Why can't you go to 7th floor? 7th floor, is it specific? Is it
Sorry.
Ukraine, Europe, yesterday, this morning, privacy, the way intelligence services gather information about politics. So we didn't decide it, we discussed it. Sometimes you need to discuss things before deciding.
Sorry.
We only decide in Parliament.
Sorry, may you ask Rasmussen why
the European boys, yes, I was there. Yes, sorry, they died in American war in Afghanistan, and now NATO help Al-Qaeda in Syria. No Al-Qaeda, but the group close to Al-Qaeda. May you ask him, please, how is this problem?
I will ask him.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I detest Assad, be sure, but in any case we can see that.
I mean, it's not mine, it's yours. It's not mine, it's yours.
Could you do that?
We're not allowed inside.
Okay.
No, there's floors to sleep on, and there's only one meeting room.
Did you say something about the 7th floor and you can go there?
Oh, no, it was that building. I was just
Okay.
pointing at the back.
But isn't it against the law in Holland for a public elected person to meet behind secrecy behind doors?
Everybody does that. You do that. I do that.
Yeah, but I'm not like in any...
Sometimes in a discussion, when you are discussing with somebody who's not a good person, he doesn't like to be and yet I want to know more. So I go to that person without a camera, out of the public, to know more about an issue. And then I come out and I'm responsible for everything I do myself. In public.
Could there be disclosure afterwards? Could there be written disclosure for the public?
Could you release the minutes?
You want it in any form or whatever, written or on camera or
But
whatever.
there isn't.
Every member here is...
I really want his attention. I have a very good question.
I talk about...
You're allowed to speak about what goes on in detail?
Yeah, I'm not. We agreed with each other. There's part of the rule that I just explained. We agreed with each other that I wouldn't say anything about what another person said. I'm only responsible for what I said and what I...
Do you think your federal colleagues in there?
Well, that's Chatham House rules, as they call it.
Country House.
No, Chatham House. It's called Chatham House.
Excuse me?
It's a dilemma. It's not a problem in itself, but it's less transparent. You send him out here. But I sometimes need it too.
But we are your boss. You're working for us.
Well, then you should impose a law that prevents me from going in.
Sorry, I have a very...
No. You are my boss. You just told me. So you can tell me which law I have to make. But first of all, you have to find a majority to take it.
Exactly, but
That's the problem.
it is the arrogance also.
The problem with democracy is that you not always get what you want. Yeah, that's true.
Never,
I feel I have a better question. Sorry, but law, what does it help us?
Nothing.
Nothing. But why do we keep
Crime, what does it help it? It's still there.
But why do we keep spending money on it? Why? Why can't we use
Because we want to prevent war, and sometimes you need to be to have an army for that.
But you're talking about the entire world. You
Yeah,
have
that's
the
problem.
control over the world.
No, I don't have. I would like to, but I don't
Your
have.
group? You would like to?
I'm almost just, well, wouldn't you like to?
No. No. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you were the one that didn't want.
So can't you use it more in a better way? Like instead of military, start teaching people how to express themselves without violence. Do we actually need to kill people?
I had a long time in my former years that I believed that you were completely right. Yeah. And then Rwanda happened. And all our teaching and all what we did didn't help anything. There were 1 million people slaughtered in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
And I would love to be able to. I would have wanted that we could prevent that. And in order to prevent that, we needed to send people there with weapons to stop it.
You can stop it before.
That's the most stupid thing I ever heard.
I know how.
I
know how.
Thanks for that judgment.
What about thinking about psychology? Every person's need. What if you're starting to fulfill them about people who need water, people who need shelter?
Maybe sometimes we fail in that. Sometimes we fail. Every day we
all
fail.
the money we actually waste on military instead of actually putting it to the people who need it.
In a perfect world, I would completely agree with you, but the world isn't perfect.
Can't we make the world perfect?
Well, we try. You try, I try.
So you in fact say that
You don't try
Bilderberg
that?
have influence?
Yes, of course I do.
Well,
But you do it on the
good for you.
wrong way.
You think so?
Yeah, you make it I think we all think that.
but not for the majority. That's the problem.
You think so?
I think we all think that.
I can tell from the world.
But you can tell from the 5 minutes that you've met me.